You boys be quiet down there!
An esoteric old tile board game, an epic quest, nudity, an island of beautiful women, and the passing of a Japanese comedy legend. All that and more on this episode of Neo Geo Generation. Welcome back to Neo Geo Generation. I'm Neo Alec. We're going through every Neo Geo game in order, and today we'll be looking at NGH number 036, Bakatonosama Mahjong Manyuki, released in 1991 by Monolith, the same company that made NGH number 027, Minasan no Okagesama desu. As discussed in the NGH-027 video, Monolith is basically just SNK. It's a second-party developer. Much of the staff for this game worked on other SNK titles. You may recall that Minasan no Okagesama desu was a Japanese-only mahjong game, which used the likeness of popular Japanese comedians without obtaining the rights. And today's game, Bakatonosama, is virtually the same story. Bakatonosama was a character played by comedian Ken Shimura, who began his career in the 70s as part of a comedy troupe called The Drifters. The character first appeared in 1977, and is meant to be a Japanese ruler of old times, wearing fool makeup. Bakatonosama was used as a stand-in to parody contemporary leaders and people in power, without directly naming or imitating them. And the character of Bakatonosama has been well known and popular throughout Japan ever since. Hardly anyone in the country isn't familiar with his catchphrase. According to Shimura himself, the phrase means "don't get angry." The character was even given his own variety TV show, which aired irregularly beginning in 1986. The title of the Neo Geo game means Bakatonosama's Great Mahjong Journey, and that's a great description of what this game is. It begins with a short cutscene of Bakatonosama lamenting that there's no one left in his castle who he can't beat at Mahjong, so he sets off on a quest to find new worthy opponents. Rather than the board game approach taken by Minasan no Okagesama desu, in Bakatonosama, the character simply walks forward automatically through a side view world, stopping to talk to each person he comes across. Some of them will require you to defeat them at Mahjong before you can pass, while others will ask you if you want to play an optional match in order to earn money and bonus items. The items can also be purchased at shops, which appear occasionally. Much like the other game, items will allow you to cheat and make the matches much easier by giving you a winning hand automatically, or changing out your player's hand when they have a reach, among other bonus effects. There are also other items given to you by characters you meet along the journey, which can't be used and appear at the bottom of your inventory screen. When you meet another character who wants these, they will automatically be exchanged for Mahjong items that can be used in the matches. The game's progression isn't completely linear, as there are occasional forks where you can decide to proceed forward or take the road leading into the background. Thus, you won't necessarily come upon all the items or the characters who need them, depending on the path you take. The game has a perfectly functional one-on-one Mahjong interface. There's a time limit for each move, but in AES mode, you can simply pause at any time and you get unlimited time to look at your hand. Bakatonosama is one of the only Neo Geo games which features nudity, and the only one that blatantly showcases it. When you defeat the female characters, you will get a screen showing them in suggestive poses, many of which include topless nudity. Sights like these were not uncommon in Japanese arcades at the time, if one ventured back into the dark corner where they keep the mahjong games. The nudity is also consistent with the Bakatonosama character, as he was often depicted as being quite lecherous, though this aspect of the character was gradually toned down over the years. Bakatonosama's journey will take him to the Isle of Beautiful Women, where he will face the Mahjong Queen, the Demon Pond area where he goes up against the Oni Man and Oni Woman, and even the World of the Dead where he will take on a Ghost Woman. Guess what you get when you win.
Then you can see more of my boobs!
Finally, Bakatonosama's journey will take him to a castle, where a Mahjong competition to win the hand of a beautiful princess is taking place. Defeat all 5 opponents and Bakatonosama will live happily ever after with his princess. The graphics and music are a slight step up from Minasan no Okage-sama desu. You get brighter colors and more details. The music sounds cleaner and newer. And most importantly, the characters aren't as ugly as the ones featured in that game. And that game board was an eyesore compared to Bakatonosama's journey. The mini comedy sketches are the only feature of Minasan no Okage-sama desu which are somewhat missed compared to the nude scenes of Bakatonosama. The music in Bakatonosama was composed by Junichi Kuramochi, who also did some music for 2020 Super Baseball. The soundtrack is exactly what you would probably expect for a game like this, mostly consisting of kabuki-style Japanese music, with taiko drums and guys yelling. Basically Mystical Ninja with Goemon music, but obviously not as good. You didn't think I would try to compare this game's music to Konami music, did you? Bakatono's soundtrack is really not bad, and uses some nice clean sounding samples. The main problem is that, as with most Mahjong games, the music wears out its welcome in match after match of this rather lengthy game. As with past Mahjong games that have been discussed in this series, Bakatonosama Mahjong Manyuki is compatible with the Neo Geo Mahjong controller. In order to use Mahjong controls on an MVS, you must activate Hard Dip Switch 3 on the motherboard. In this game, doing this will make the letters needed for the Mahjong controller visible below the tiles. On an AES system, simply plugging in the Mahjong controller will activate Mahjong controller mode. Obviously, the Mahjong controller is nice to have for Mahjong games, but they are unfortunately not easy to come by. But in case you were ever curious, activating Dip Switch 3 on an MVS will put your system into Mahjong controller mode. The Unibios supports the Mahjong controller, and with Dip Switch 3 on, you can even see the Mahjong controller test screen in the hardware test. Just like Minasan no Okage-sama desu, Bakatonosama Mahjong Manyuki was never released for the Neo Geo CD. The game would have been 3 years old by the time the Neo Geo CD system was released in 1994. Is it really any wonder that SNK passed on re-releasing both of these? This Neo Geo game by Monolith is actually not the only video game where Bakatonosama is featured. One of the variety shows that he was appearing on in 1985 was sponsored by Konami's Hyper Olympic, known as Track and Field in English. The sponsorship, as well as Bakatonosama mentioning the game by name once in a sketch, led to the release of a version of Hyper Olympic featuring the likeness of the character. And in 2002, a Bakatonosama board game title was also released for the Game Boy Advance. The actor who played Bakatonosama, Ken Shimura, may also be familiar to gamers from the 1987 Hudson Soft PC Engine game Kato and Ken, localized for the TurboGrafx-16 as JJ and Jeff. That game was based on the TV variety show Kato-chan Ken-chan Gokigen TV, which featured Shimura and Cha Kato of the Drifters, though in that show he isn't in character as Bakatonosama. Sadly, Ken Shimura passed away in 2020, the first high-profile celebrity death in Japan attributed to the global COVID-19 pandemic. However, Ken Shimura's characters, including Bakatonosama, continue to be well-known and recognized throughout Japan. His variety show has continued to be aired as TV specials throughout the decades, and even in clip shows broadcast since his death. He may be gone, but he has left his mark on the world, and even on the Neo Geo library. Thank you for watching another episode of Neo Geo Generation. Next time we'll be looking at NGH-037, Crossed Swords by ADK. Now go play some Neo Geo. This is Neo Alec signing off.